Hey guys, I'm Mitch from Weekly and welcome to another class preview and artifact questline preview. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Retribution Paladin. So the way things are going to work is we're first going to take a look at the spells, then the talents, and then we'll head into the actual artifact questline. Now if you don't care about the talents and spells, or you've already seen the changes, feel free to skip ahead to the quests itself for the artifacts, which, as you probably know, is Ashbringer. So, let's just get right into it and open our spellbook. So, the first thing we see is Avenging Wrath. It's still our cooldown. It increases all damage and healing caused by 50% for 20 seconds. And as you can see, there's no Hammer of Wrath mentioned anywhere. That's because the Hammer of Wrath is gone. Next up is the Blade of Justice, and I believe it's a new spell, I'm pretty sure, almost 100%. And it strikes an enemy with the Blade of Justice, dealing damage and generating holy power. We still have holy power. Blaze of Light is a talent. It's actually a replacement of Flash of Light, and it's just a more powerful heal. We have Blessing of Freedom, still the same. And then we get to something a little more interesting. Blessing of Kings, Blessing of Might, and Blessing of Wisdom. They're kind of paired, or rather grouped together, because they're new buffs. They've been completely changed, just like buffs have been for every other single class as well. Because the general raid buffs, Mark of the Wild, Blessing of Kings, Blessing of Might, etc., they're all gone. They're cooldowns now.
Thank the light I found you. I must speak with you at once.
In the case of the Paladin, they are buffs, but you can only place them on 3 people at the same time. So you could choose to have Blessing of Kings, which generates a shield every 6 seconds on your 2 tanks, for example, and then you could put Blessing of Might on yourself to have a 10% chance to deal 30% additional damage as holy. Or if your healers need mana, you could go for casting Blessing of Wisdom on 3 of your healers. It'll give them 1% mana every 15 seconds and have a chance when damage is taken to be healed for 5% of maximum health. So as you can see, at every single boss fight in at least 2 raids, you have a choice to make. Who's going to benefit the most from these blessings for this encounter? Does the boss do an absolute ton of damage? Blessing of Kings is probably the one you want to take to just have that little bit of extra absorption on the tank. Is it DPS you need? Well, of course you want to put Blessing of Might on probably your 3 highest DPS. So those are the blessings. Blessing of Protection, still the same, a 5-minute cooldown. Now, Consecration is a talent, so we'll get to talents in a little bit. Divine Shield is still the same. Divine Storm is still the same. Guiding Light isn't actually supposed to be in our spellbook yet. It's going to be the teleport spell to our class hall. But we're not actually supposed to get this until after we get our artifact. So just pretend that isn't there yet. Hammer of Justice is still the same as well. The same stun. Hand of Hindrance, I believe, is a new one. It's an actual offensive hand and reduces movement speed by 70% for 10 seconds. Now, you might be hearing this guy talk. It's the start of the artifact interquest, but we'll get to that once we've gone through all of these spells and talents. Another new hand is Hand of Light. Again, an offensive hand, and you will heal for 3% of your health each time the target takes damage, up to once per second. If the target dies while the hand is active, you will actually heal for 40% of her health, which is pretty nice. But the hand only lasts 10 seconds, so every minute for 10 seconds, you'll be able to get some healing out of it. Judgment is the same, pretty much. Deals damage and causing the target to take 30% increased damage from your holy power generators and consumers for 6 seconds. So, while it doesn't generate holy power itself, it does allow your other abilities to do more damage. Lay on Hands is the same, and there's a 10-minute cooldown. Rebuke is the same, still an interrupt. Another spell that actually shouldn't be in our spellbook, Shield of Vengeance, it's listed as a talent. Now, it creates a barrier of holy light that absorbs damage for 15 seconds, and when the barrier is consumed or expires, all damage absorbed is dealt back to your current melee target as holy damage. Now, I do have it on my bars because I can use it, but I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a talent for protection, for example, or if it's actually just supposed to be a base spell, and the talent is just a wrong tag on the spell. Templar's Verdict is the same. It's what we'll be using for our holy power the most. Zeal is actually Crusader Strike. Let's go ahead and take another talent just to see the base spell. Let's see, where did Crusader Strike go? There it went. An instant strike that deals damage and generates 1 holy power. However, I like the talent, so I'm going to take that. Then we have a passive. Your Crusader Strike and Blade of Justice have a 20% chance to generate an additional holy power. So while Crusader Strike and Blade of Justice generate a certain amount of holy power, you can actually get extra holy power from that. Fist of Justice, your spells that consume holy power reduce the remaining cooldown. It's a talent, we'll get to that. We still have Heart of the Crusader, increasing our mount speed. Our Mastery increases the holy damage of, well, most of our spells. Retribution, now this is a really interesting one. I'm pretty sure it's a new passive. Whenever anyone in our party or raid dies within 40 yards of us, we gain 100% increased damage for 10 seconds. So, let's say it's one of those fights, for example, Mythic, and you get close each time. You have 2 1% wipes. Paladin, Retribution Paladin, if they're alive, could make a difference by having their damage increased by 100% as their teammates are falling. So, that's a pretty nifty passive and pretty unique. And then the last one, Sword of Light, increases the damage we deal with two-handed melee weapons by 30%. So, those are our core abilities. Not that many changes other than the loss of Hammer of Wrath. So let's take a look at the talents. We'll see some new ones and obviously some old ones as well. First of all, the new one, or rather old one, Execution Sentence. We can't use it to heal ourselves anymore. It just deals damage. Tyrallian's Might, fling a blade of holy light to the target location, dealing holy damage instantly and every 2 seconds to all enemies. If you reactivate the spell again, you charge forward to that location. So this talent really is a steal from Heroes of the Storm, I would say, from Tyrael, with a sword, and you get to teleport to it. But yeah, Retribution Paladins get that now. You can also choose for Consecration to have some additional AoE. So that's the first row. Let's move on quickly. The second row, a flat out increase to Crusader Strike damage by 25% in the Fires of Justice. Crusader Flurry replaces Crusader Strike, and it has 3 charges, and every time it grants 1 holy power. So instead of the cooldown of Crusader Strike, which is a 5 second cooldown, you could choose for it to have 3 charges instead, and then use them for burst to quickly get up a Templar's Verdict, for example, to continue your burst damage. Completely up to you. The last one to also replace Crusader Strike is Zeal, an instant strike that also deals damage and gives holy power, and it also grants you Zeal, which increases your attack speed and causes Zeal to chain to an additional nearby target per stack. So apparently our attack speed with this will stack, And eventually, I don't know up to how many stacks we can go, but for example, if it's 3, we could hit an additional 3 targets nearby when we've used the Zeal 3 times. So that's pretty cool. Fist of Justice is up next, which is a passive talent we just saw in the spellbook as well. Our spells that consume Holy Power reduces the remaining cooldown of Hammer of Justice by 10 seconds. So that means you could start using Hammer of Justice a lot more instead of just once per minute. Repentance, still talent, still the same, basically a crowd control. And then Blinding Light, I'm not sure if it's part of the core abilities now, or if it was already a talent, but it does the same thing with blinding enemies within 10 yards. Up next is Virtue's Blade, which increases the damage done by Blade of Justice by 25%. So if you would want to, you could just flat out increase the damage of both a Blade of Justice and Crusader Strike by 25% instead of changing them. They are both your holy power generators. And Judgment isn't anymore. Blade of Wrath, you could choose to replace Blade of Justice with, and it's, let's see, it does half of the damage, but it has half of the cooldown. As you can see, Blade of Justice has a 12-second cooldown, does 22k damage and gives 2 holy power. Blade of Wrath gives you 1 holy power, has a 6-second cooldown, and has a 14k holy damage hit. So the damage is actually slightly more than 50%, giving you the damage increase, but it's less bursty. Then finally, Divine Hammer also replaces Blade of Justice and has an 8-second cooldown, and I believe it's an AoE, yeah, damaging enemies within 8 yards for holy damage instantly and every 2 seconds, and it generates 1 holy power. So you could go for a full AoE build. You have plenty of options here, and we're not done yet.
Light, I found you.
So let's move on to Judgment of the Bold. It increases the bonus damage of your judgments by 10%. So instead of 30%, it would give a 40% damage bonus, which is okay. It's not special. It doesn't have... It's not my favorite, let's put it that way. The next one, your Judgment's ability generates 1 holy power. Hey, we can actually make Judgment a lot more like the current Judgment in the live game. Holy power will now also generate 1 holy power. Judgment will also generate 1 holy power, which is a bit more stable, in my opinion. And the last one, Mass Judgment, again an AoE spell. Your Judgment spell affects all enemies within 8 yards of the target and increases the duration by 100%. So you could really go full out AoE as a Retribution Paladin if it's needed. Up next is Blaze of Light, which is the one I showed before. It replaces Flash of Light and it's a more powerful heal. Next is a new one, which is Divine Steed, and I haven't actually tried it yet, so let's just try it out. Divine Steed summons your Holy Charger to ride for 4 seconds, increasing movement speed by 100% for 4 seconds. Usable while indoors or in combat, so you can have a huge burst forward. And it says instant. I can't use that here. Okay, I guess we can't test it out. That's too bad. The final one, eye for an eye. The wording you might know from Hearthstone. It should do the same. Instantly counterattack any enemy that strikes you in melee for 12 seconds. So they do damage to you, you do damage to them right away.
I must speak with you at once.
You can do a maximum of 10 counterattacks. I just like the self-heal more than the other 2 talents. Eye for an Eye will probably be useful for soloing as well, but for now we'll go with Blaze of Light. Then, onto the final row. Final Verdict increases the damage done of Templar's Verdict with a flat at 15%. You might be seeing a trend here. Lots of passives to increase the damage of the base abilities. You have some changes to the base abilities, and you can even go for lots of AoE. Up next, Seal of Light. Draws upon the Paladin's holy energy to increase attack speed by 35% and movement speed by 10%. It lasts for 30 seconds. So you could go the Mist of Pandaria Retribution road, with which every 30 seconds you're going to have to use Seal of Light to increase your attack speed and movement speed. Not really my type of playstyle, but maybe you enjoy it. And then finally, Holy Wrath. Fires holy bolts at the target, causing holy damage and restoring 4% of the Paladin's health over an amount of seconds. It deals 50% additional damage to stunned targets. So, Holy Wrath, together with Fist of Justice, actually gives you quite the burst potential in solo content, questing, even dungeons. So that's definitely a combination you might want to go with. And that covers all of the talents. The Retribution Paladin, as far as changes go, seems to be pretty straightforward. We haven't seen it in the combat yet, but most of it is the same, some small tweaks. And the most noticeable change, at least in my opinion, is the removal of Hammer of Wrath. So let's move on to the Retribution Artifact Introduction Questline. And for that, we're going to have to talk to this guy. Just like in the other videos, I'll read out the quest's descriptions. So let me just take a sip of water and we'll get started. The Burning Legion devastated us at the Broken Shore. The mightiest army this world has ever known, reduced to cinders in mere moments. Our weapons glanced off of their armor, our spells lost in a sea of fellfire. We need weapons capable of destroying our garrison and his minions, while we still have a chance. The greatest paladins the world over have gathered... Okay, yeah, that seems an odd sentence. The world over have gathered at Crassus' landing to discuss our next move. We're only missing you. Well, of course, I'm one of the greatest paladins. Why not?
Excellent. Meet me at Crassus' landing when you are ready. I've assembled the Argent Crusade's finest to join us to rescue High Lord Tyrion.
Alright, let's see if we can rescue Tyrion. Of course, I don't think I actually said this yet, but, you know, spoilers, and it's alpha, anything can change, and probably will. So, let's go look at our paladin mates. Indicated Boros, Lady Liadrin, and a Sunwalker, a pony Brightmane. A pony.
Greetings.
Excuse me. I trust you will find yourself in good company here. There are no greater soldiers of the light in all of Azeroth than those gathered here. We have identified several weapons of immense power in the world. Weapons capable of giving us a fighting chance against the Legion. Unfortunately, we've been unable to agree as to where we should first focus our efforts. You have the most experience out of all of us, Barzul. You make the call.
Light bless you.
Okay, now this is odd. And I say this is odd because if you've seen any of the other videos, you'll have noticed that only one of the artifacts has been available at a time. The other two simply aren't in the alpha yet. But in this case, we could choose Holy to get the Silver Hand, or Protection to get Truth Guard. Now the problem is, it's probably not the brightest idea to choose one of those. The video is for Retribution anyway. But that's because both Holy and Protection talents, or specs, aren't enabled in this alpha build. So we wouldn't be able to do all the healing we'd have to probably do for the Holy artifact, or the tanking for the tanking artifact. But, of course, this is the Retribution video, and we're going for Ashbringer. Now, Ashbringer has an equip effect. Judgment has a 35% chance to cause 4 weapons of the light to smash your target, dealing damage. So, that's a pretty cool effect. Just right out has a chance to deal a flat amount of damage. That's not too shabby. So, what does it say about our Ashbringer? During our failed assault on this broken shore, High Lord Tyrion Fordring was lost, and with him our greatest weapon against the Legion, the Ashbringer. We need to return to the broken shore and recover Tyrion and the Ashbringer at all costs. So, let's select Retribution.
Need help?
Excellent, there's no time to waste. Somewhere out there is Tyrion fading away, and the Ashbringer with him. We must not waste another moment. Give the word and we'll set off. We're ready when you are.
Be careful.
You brave souls have been chosen to strike into the depths of hell itself to rescue High Lord Tyrion. This is your last chance to turn back. Ready yourselves, men. The broken shore awaits. We leave on our champion's command.
Great. Let's get started. Lead the Paladins of the Argent's Crusade into battle.
The demons before us are all that stand between us and the Ashbringer. Regardless of the outcome, our families will know that we fought for the freedom and safety of our world. We move on our champion's command.
Right. Oh, come on, that doesn't work? This'll suck. Let's see, is it in my Argents? Ooh. Okay, that's less great. Maybe if I just...
Argent Crusade?
That works.
Such arrogance must be punished.
Yeah, let's use our AoE. And we haven't tried out this new ability yet, which gives us a shield. So far it's just killing demons, nothing special.
Crush them! Champion, we must persevere.
Let's see, what stacks do we have? Oh yeah. All about
Scorch the earth behind us. I must finish breaking our guest.
Alright, so
The fiends have Tyrion. We have to act quickly.
it's really just killing demons.
I'll signal for our Hippogriff riders to get our fallen to Light's Hope Chapel. You must forge ahead and find the High Lord.
Actually, max factor 5. There we go.
Oh, you mortals are so vain, so arrogant. You will suffer for your hubris. The sundering of this one's soul has been taxing, but he will be ours soon.
Let's see, it was a seal that I had to... No! The light burns in my heart. I will never surrender. Well, given spoilers...
You will suffer for 1,000 lifetimes.
Alright, then.
Insignificant gnat, I will enjoy breaking you.
Alright, so that's one thing to keep in mind. You want to have your judgments up on the time a lot. It matters a lot more now because of the increased damage. find the Ashbringer. Well, I guess we should just leave Tyrion? I think so. Oh, there we go. Leave me. You must hurry before more come. Go! After this, I'm going to have to change my bars a bit. I'm used to... I mean, Judgment has always been on my 3, but... It would feel more natural to have Light of Justice on 3 now. So we're not really taking any major damage. We have failed Lord Balna.
Ah, the Light's
Balnazar,
greatest champion
I
has
see.
arrived to claim the Holy Ashbringer and lay waste to my kin.
They say only the pure of heart can wield the High Blade. Come, champion, claim your destiny.
I've been waiting for you, Paladin. Know that I will rip the soul from your flesh and make your body my own. Know that I am Balnazar. Know that you are but a pawn in plans beyond your reckoning.
Right. Hand of Light is something we can put on him as well.
Burn everything, my pets. Leave only ash. Enough! Never again will that damn blade slay my brethren. You think this is over, Paladin? Our journey together has just begun.
Champion, you must come quickly. Tyrion called for you by name. I fear he does not have long for this world. Hurry!
Alright, let's head back. Let's face it, as a Retribution Paladin, having
before more
Ashbringer
demons
equipped
come. Quickly,
feels pretty
the High
natural.
Lord is just outside the temple.
Seems we can't sheath the weapon yet. Oops, end. Aptly named. We'll come closer. Not long for this world. Tyrion, I can't get any closer than this. You must take up the blade. You must stop the Legion. You must become the Ashbringer. High Lord Tyrion's last light fades. Oh, there you have it. The guy
Will
is
be
dead.
missed, brother. We must go to Light's Hope Chapel at once. High Lord Fordring deserves to be put to rest among the ancient heroes of the light buried there.
Right. Back onto the Hippogriff we go.
We gave everything for the Ashbringer. You gave everything. Tyrion, would be proud to see you wielding that blade.
Well done.
I thought we were all going to die back there. I owe you my life, Barzul. We might just have a chance against the Legion with you on our side, but before we march on the Burning Isles, we must put High Lord Tyrion to rest. There is but one place suitable for a paladin of his caliber. Light's Hope Sanctum, a secret bastion of the light hidden beneath the chapel. Paladins the world over are en route now to attend the ceremony. I know Tyrion would want you there most of all.
For the Alliance.
The others should be waiting for you in the sanctum beneath Light's Hope Chapel. You should make haste.
To get there, the Kirintor have established a portal in a chamber beneath the city. To Dalaran's former home in Light's Hills, Bradford Hills. Light's Hope is short from there. There are teleportation pads in Runeweaver Square that will take you to the chamber. I've marked one on your map. Okay.
Go with
Well, I wonder if this... Oh, we'll just take the regular route, just to be safe. I would hate for it to bug out, as I've had other bugs here on Alpha. Right, what was the movement speed talent again? Divine Steed, and I couldn't use it here. Tarzan, Dalaran Crater. Alright, say fall. Crusader Journey the Feed. Okay. I'm sure I didn't pronounce that right. It's Light's Hope Chapel. Feel free to skip ahead in the video, of course. You know what? Actually, I'll do this. Alright, so we're at the Light's Hope. Go ahead into the chapel. Boom. How we get to the bottom?
You need something? For the Alliance.
Let's see. What does the quest say? Worry. If I need to search again, I'll just put it on pause. Sorry, guys. Alright, so I found it. You can click on these tiles and then it opens up and you can go down. See? Then. So, this is the Sanctum of Light. And this is the class order hall for the Paladin. Guys kneeling for us. Armory of the Silver Hand. Alright, let's
King's honor, friend.
look at that. Pretty cool. I'm glad you could make it. Yeah, me too. I'm afraid I must ask too much of you, Barzul. The Paladins of Azeroth need a leader. With Tyrion's passing, you are the only one that has the rapport amongst us to wear the mantle of the High Lord. Inscribe your name into the labrum of ancient kings, and I will address the masses on your behalf. The Order of the Silver Hand is reborn with you, champion. Establish the Order of the Silver Hand.
Light bless you.
Right. We need to actually walk with the guy. Gathered Paladins of Azeroth, you've come to mourn the loss of High Lord Tyrion Fordring. Many of you looked to him as an idol, a paragon of what we all strive to be as Paladins. May we all take a moment of silence to pay our respects to a truly great soldier, leader, and friend. In the light, we are one brother. Inscribe your name to the Libra of Ancient Kings, and I will address the gathered on your behalf. Right? You've heard the legend of Barzul, the paladin proven worthy of wielding the Ashbringer and succeeding Tyrion as High Lord. With Barzul at our head, we can be the weapon brought to bear against the Legion. We must stand together against the coming darkness. We must stand side by side and cast aside the shackles of race and faction. We must unite as one. The Blood Knights stand with you, High Lord Barzul. Azeroth will not fall. We must fight together, High Lord. On this day, the Order of the Silver Hand is reborn. Together, Sir Garrus himself shall shudder at our might. I'm wearing the different tier sets. I love the detail. Hey, didn't even see that yet. Vindicator Maraud. Tyrion Fordring. Lion's Guy. The Dwarf. Let's move on.
Well met.
We've done it, High Lord of Barzul. The Order of the Silver Hand is reborn. And I want High Lord as actual title. Ashbringer gains 100 artifact power. High Lord, as long as you wield the Ashbringer, the Legion will do everything in their power to strike you down. We must not allow that to pass. You are our single greatest hope. To drive the demons back to the holes they crawled out of, I humbly submit myself to you, your direct service, Barzul. I will act as your eyes and blade, where you are not. I will carry out your will until my dying breath. Lord Maxwell Tyrosus.
For the Alliance.
Okay. Even the most powerful Legion lords fear the Ashbringer, and rightly so, but they are constantly at work, fashioning new horrors and fiends in an attempt to counter the High Blade's might. High Lord, we must augment the Ashbringer's power to maintain our edge over the enemy. The altar before you carries with it the combined power of countless heroes of the light buried in these sacred halls. Place the Ashbringer upon it, and you can imbue the blade with new strength.
Light bless you.
Right. So, this is the first time this is the fourth artifact that I'm doing that I have 2 artifact power instead of 100. That'll be interesting. But let's get started on the relics first. Let's go over them. So relics are basically the new weapon drops for Legion, yeah? Because we have Ashbringer through the entire expansion. Weapon drops obviously won't actually happen during Legion. Instead, relics will drop, and they'll increase the power of your blade and traits. Now, traits are these things, starting with the first one. And traits are basically the old talents, all the way up to Cataclysm, and there's a few that give an ability, and most of them just increase the power of your existing abilities, or reduce the cooldown. So, to get started, we have to use 100 artifact power to learn the first trait, which is Wake of Ashes. Call an Ashbringer at the target location, dealing holy damage and snaring all targets within 8 yards by up to 50% based on the distance from the center of impact. Demon and undead creatures are stunned for 10 seconds if struck by this ability. So, let's get that. That's a pretty nice AoE. And as you can see, the entire trait tree is now unlocked. As you can see, there are 3 major traits, and the rest are all smaller ones. The smaller ones are typically increasing the damage, reducing cooldown, stuff like that. And they have ranks. Relics can increase the amount of ranks that they have. But the major ones, let's go through them. Echo of the High Lord. It's a passive. When you use Templar's Verdict or Divine Storm, Ashbringer will mimic that action. So I assume you basically actually just use that ability twice. Divine Tempest. Ashbringer will cause your Divine Storm to quickly move 20 yards in front of you, dealing damage to all enemies within its path. So not just near you, but everything in front of you, which is pretty nice. Finally, the third one is also a passive, Blades of Light. The Blade of Justice will deal damage to the target an additional 1 to 3 times. The Blade of Justice is the new ability that you have as a Retribution Paladin, and it will do that 1 to 3 extra times, which is pretty cool. Let's see, which passives can we choose from? So, damage of Blade of Justice, damage of Judgment, or damage of Divine Storm. Now, I don't really care for Divine Storm, but that seems to be... Is it linked? No, it's not. This is actually just the graphical background. Righteous Blade is not linked to Blades of Light. Yeah. I like Echo of the High Lord the best, which means this is the shortest route. So we'll take Deliver the Justice, which increases the damage of Blade of Justice. Alright. Well, we've used all of artifact power, but before we go away from the altar, appearances. You can use the altar other than spending artifact power to also change the appearance of your artifact. Each artifact's model has 4 colors, Ashbringer, standard, and then 3 others, and also different actual models. Now, of course, these are all locked, so we can't really do anything else with it right now. So let's just exit.
Greetings.
We'll continue to ask the light for ways to imbue its power more quickly into the blade. For now, the Ashbringer's new strength should be more than enough. I think it's wise that we introduce the Ashbringer to the Legion on the Broken Isles. He's volunteered to help coordinate our forces on the Isles. You should speak with him.
Be careful.
Alright, so let's go ahead.
Need help?
Hey, is the guy actually following us? No. Just
Lights are with
replaying. Just look at the detail. Lots of weapons. Actual target dummies. What else do we have here?
Greetings.
Holy Paladins. Librum of Ancient Kings. Let's check that out first. This tome will fill with pages on the history and power of your artifact as your knowledge level increases. So you'll actually be able to dive deeper into the lore. Portal to Dalaran. Alright. Get to the quest. Hey, Dragonhead.
Well met.
It's time to strike back with the Legion. Alright, so
Light bless you.
we're basically at the end, but basically what he wants us to do is use this map, this command map, to choose where we go and start leveling. So normally what would happen, once Legion actually launches, we can choose from any of the 4 or 5 areas which area we want to level in first. Currently High Mountain, oh, there we go. High Mountain and Stormheim are available in Alpha, but this map itself is bugged, so we can't choose on this map if we actually want to go to High Mountain or Stormheim. Normally you would choose one of them and you would, I assume, teleport there. I'm not sure how exactly that's going to work, but you go there and then you just start the questing experience. And that also means that this is in fact the end of the artifact introduction quest, because afterwards you just go into the actual Legion content itself. So, thank you very much for watching. I certainly hope you enjoyed this preview video. If you did, subscribe, click the like button, let me know in the comments what you're looking forward to the most. If you would like to keep up with when new videos come out, you can also follow us on Twitter or Facebook at twitter.com/bbmezzy or facebook.com/wowweekly. So for now, that's pretty much it. I'm Mezzy, and I'll see you again next time.